Hi, and welcome to my channel. I'll be doing recaps of the 90-Day Fiancé franchise, as well as other reality shows like Love is Blind. If that sounds like something you're into, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. In this video, I'll be covering Happily Ever After, Season 9, Episode 16. We'll start off with a super short segment on Brandon and Julia. They're getting ready for their upcoming trip to Europe. Brandon's parents, of course, are against the trip. Brandon expresses concern about going against his parents' wishes, and Julia stresses that it's about them, not their parents. At first, I thought Brandon was going to cave and side with his parents like he does, but surprisingly, he and Julia seem to be in agreement about moving forward with their plan of action this time. Now we're with Darcy, Georgi, Stacy, and Florian as they're in New York for Fashion Week. When they arrive at the event, they meet with a stylist who's helping with their wardrobes, and Darcy shares that she and Stacy will be walking the runway. Darcy adds in her confessional that she's not going to let Georgi bring her down on this iconic day. Big eye roll here. Georgi and Florian are outside talking about how Georgi doesn't like to share details of his job with Darcy since she wants to control how he uses his money. Florian appears sympathetic, but in his confessional he's like, "Oh, poor Georgi, he needs to man up." Florian explains to Georgi that he should be honest with Darcy. Georgi asks Florian, "Doesn't Stacy let you do what you want?" And Florian replies, "No, sometimes." By which he seems to be saying, "No, not all the time, Georgi." In his confessional, Georgi says if he tells Darcy the truth, it won't end well. And he adds that Florian's relationship is not going well either. He mentions that since the Bulgaria trip, he's been thinking about what he wants and if he and Darcy can fix their relationship. Meanwhile, Darcy and Stacy are backstage at Fashion Week, and they're excited and getting all glammed up. And then, bam, they're walking the runway, baby. After the show, the sisters spend a few seconds talking excitedly about their runway walk before they start digging into Georgi. Darcy says she can't stop thinking about what Georgi said, last episode about how he's wasting his prime years, which he'd said in response to her saying she's wasting her prime. As always, Stacy is only too happy to jump on the Georgi hate wagon in this moment. Back in their hotel room after the show, Darcy is seeking validation from Georgi, asking him again if she did a good job and if he's proud of her, which she'd already asked him in the cab ride over. He again says he's proud of her, and she's like, "Oh, well, you don't say that often," so... Of course, she has to start something, so she says sometimes she feels like he doesn't truly support her as his wife, and she wants to know things like how much he makes, etc., so she knows what's going on. And that it's like he thinks if he shares things that they'll be taken from him. She says she never took from him, but only gave to him. He says he never asked for those things she gave him, and he asks, "Why do you give something to use it against the other person?" He has a point. I agree with this. She counters that she's always given graciously. He says she never includes him in decisions, and that's disrespectful, and that now he's working hard for his money and wants to enjoy it. In his confessional, Georgi says he's bothered that Darcy is so controlling and always wants to be on top. He adds that she's all over the place sometimes and doesn't know what she wants. I agree, Georgi. I do feel like he needs to be paying his share, and I can't always tell if he is or not, but I don't like the way she treats him and talks to him, and it's so sad that she can never just be in the moment. Like, she had this exciting event today that she should be celebrating with her husband, and that he'd probably be happy to celebrate with her if she'd let him, but she just can't stop sabotaging herself. She says this argument makes her recall her recent combo with her dad, where he asked about their relationship. Georgi says the trip to Bulgaria opened his eyes, and that he's been gone so long and missed so many important moments with his family, and he doesn't want to miss those moments for this, as he says. He asks if they're truly happy. Darcy's face ponders this. She says, "At times, but not all the time." Georgi asks if they're wasting time, just having the same arguments and going in circles, and how they say they'll change and they never do. Preach, Georgi. This causes Darcy to spiral, and she's like, "So you don't know if you want the relationship to work?" Georgi leaves the bed in frustration. He explains that they rehash the same things over and over and never move forward. He makes such a good point here, and Darcy immediately is like, "Are you scared to walk away?" And she has this weird smile on her face. Georgi says she never gets it, and he's not sure if she's trying to gaslight him. I was like, "Go, Georgi, go!" Darcy still isn't comprehending, so she's like, "So you don't know what you want from us?" Georgi, defeated, says, "You'll never get it," and he leaves the room. In his confessional, he says there's something important he needs to talk about with Darcy, but he's worried because she never listens to him. I feel bad for both of them, to be honest. I don't like how she talks to him and how she and Stacy gang up on him, but I feel bad that she doesn't seem to have the internal tools to understand herself better. I just wish she would get some long term therapy and bring her sister. Now we'll move on to the Florida gang who are vacationing together in Lake Placid. Libby and Andre stop by to see Jovi and Yara in their room. Jovi asks the girls how their time with Lauren went that day, and Yara admits there was a lot of fighting. Libby shares that it was fun until Lauren decided to bring up the past, and that she told Lauren it would be a good idea for her to talk to Andre about her concerns. The others allude to the elephant in the room, by which they're apparently referring to Lauren, and Yara says she wants the elephant to die. I don't think she meant what that sounds like. Then we see Lauren and Alexei in their room, and Lauren discusses how Libby suggested she talk to Andre and how she feels she's being gaslit by Libby. Now we're back with Libby and Yara, where Libby is talking about how much better she and Yara get along and how there's no drama. Yara says she thinks Lauren is a good friend, and you can see Libby doesn't like that. Not surprisingly, Libby then shares with Yara that Lauren had been making comments about Yara, like that Miami had gone to her head and making fun of what she wears. Libby says she cares about Yara and doesn't want her to get hurt. Okay, Libby, we believe you. I'm not a huge Lauren fan, but Libby just seems like the worst in how she handled this and how she can complain to others about issues in her relationship but can't take any feedback. She's also so brusquely rude and proud of it, and like her facial expressions alone are so nasty. I would not want to be in her friend group. In her confessional with Andre, Libby says she got burned when Lauren talked behind her back and doesn't want Yara to go through the same thing. For sure, Libby doesn't care about Yara and is only interested in getting back at Lauren through Yara. That's my opinion. In Yara's confessional, she says if she heard that Libby said something behind her back, she'd believe it, but she couldn't believe Lauren would do this. To me, that seems pretty telling, and I think Yara knows what's up with Libby. In the evening, Alexei and Lauren join the other couples in a trip to a local bar, and the vibe in the van is awkward. Jovi makes a comment and is speaking in what sounds like a normal tone, but for some reason, Andre asks why Jovi is screaming. Jovi replies that he's just trying to match Andre's voice level since he's always talking over everyone. And there's a shot of Lauren and Alexei giving a knowing glance to each other. They all nervously start laughing, and Yara says she didn't expect Andre to apologize and not give a comeback. Then Libby adds that Andre has been practicing apologizing a lot lately, to which Lauren and Alexei share another knowing glance. In her confessional, Libby says it only took Andre 8 years to learn to apologize, and that he could have saved them a ton of trouble by doing this sooner. After some group shots and other bar fun with the locals, the three couples are talking, and Libby mentions how they're having tequila since they had that earlier at the hotel. Lauren says she and Alexei didn't get the invite to that drink sesh earlier. Libby bitchily responds, "You didn't get that invite? Blame it on Jovi." Libby really is the worst mean girl. She just can't help herself. In her confessional, Lauren says it seems like Libby goes tit for tat on everything, and I agree. Andre suggests they clear the air. Libby is claiming she doesn't like how Lauren talked to Andre in the argument at Lauren's home recently and how that hurt her. How Lauren's friend Noga attacked Andre and how she thought Lauren was her friend. Lauren explains she was defending Libby in that argument. Andre says Lauren never apologized for that night. I thought she had apologized, but she apologizes again here. And then Andre apologizes about reading Lauren's text messages to Libby. Wow, maybe he is maturing. Lauren thanks him for the apology, but Libby looks annoyed that they made up, so that's nice of her. She really couldn't look more bothered by this turn of events. Maybe if Andre is a better person, that shines more light on her character. In her confessional, Lauren explains that she's apologized repeatedly to Andre and Libby for the Noga incident, which, yeah, that's what I remembered. Lauren expresses her appreciation that Andre is apologizing for reading her texts. Libby says to Lauren that if she can get an apology from Andre, she needs to explain how, because Andre never apologizes to anyone. So she does know he's a dick. And again, that was weird because we just saw Libby this episode say how Andre has been apologizing a lot lately. So Libby still looks annoyed. Then it looks like Lauren is crying, and she goes in for a hug with Libby, who reciprocates. In her confessional, Libby says she's happy to see the true Lauren in the bar conversation apology situation because this is her and these are her real feelings. I find that statement a little odd. Wasn't Lauren herself before? I don't really get that, so weird interpretation. I don't love Lauren, but she just comes off as so much more likable than Libby, who always seems to be looking to start a fight with her friends. Yara is talking with Jovi about how Libby told her that Lauren was making fun of her. Yara says she won't do anything about it, but Jovi is egging her on that she should confront Lauren, so he and Yara go talk to Lauren. At first, they're just making small talk, and then Jovi to Yara is like, "So, what about your conversation with Libby?" Jovi sounds super drunk at this point, so he probably shouldn't be instigating anything, but in his confessional, Jovi says Yara is sensitive about her looks, which he says he learned the hard way, so he sees this as a way to stick up for her. I think he's probably trying to take the heat off himself for his own comments, or maybe the producers encouraged him to bring up the topic. Yara explains what Libby had said about Lauren talking about her, and when Lauren hears this, she's like, "I never said that." She says, as a matter of fact, Yara inspired her with her fashion sense, and in her confessional, Lauren says she might have shared with Libby that she thought Yara's clothing was very bold and not something she would wear, but that it was never something she was insulting Yara about. And Lauren adds that after just having made amends with Libby, this new revelation shows that she can't trust her. Lauren explains to Yara that she was actually jealous of her because she's so beautiful. In her confessional, Yara says that she doesn't know whether to believe Lauren or not, but she's tired of the fighting. Lauren goes back to the table and tells Alexei something else came up and how frustrated she is, but she doesn't explain further. And Libby's sitting there like, "What's the problem?" In her confessional, Lauren says she's done with Libby. Moving on to Jasmine and Matt. While Jasmine is walking her dog, Matt pulls up in a huge ass truck. You can clearly see that Jasmine is holding her dog Coco in the scene, but after she climbs into the truck, the pup is nowhere to be found. Matt announces that he'll use the truck to tow and work on vehicles to bring in money. Jasmine asks how much the truck costs, and he says it was about $150,000. This shocks Jasmine, and it shocked me too. I mean, damn, is that correct for a tow truck? Like, then she asks some questions about his experience towing cars, and when he says he has limited experience, she pops off. They pull up to their car, and Jasmine asks Matt to try towing it to show that he can. Somehow, Coco has rematerialized in the truck. Matt seems surprised too. Jasmine starts to coach Matt on how to tow the truck. At first, he plans to just drive the car onto the truck ramp, but she argues that he should pull the car onto the ramp since that's how most non-functioning cars would need to be towed. Matt argues he doesn't know how to work the winch yet, and Jasmine looks disappointed. In her confessional, she talks about how Matt always has big dreams that aren't based in reality, and that this tow truck decision is equally ill-planned. Then she starts crying about not having a support system, and that she wants Matt to attend a baby class with her, which he agrees to. He tells her he'll hold off on messing with the tow truck until after the class so they can get their priorities straight. I'm not sure I understand why he needs to completely put the truck business idea on hold for now, especially since he invested so much money in it. Seems like he could do both things, but now they're at home and Matt is cooking for Jasmine and Coco. Jasmine is nervous about calling her mom to talk about everything they're going through. In her confessional, she explains that she hasn't told her mom anything about what's going on. When she's on the call with her mom, she starts by saying she hasn't been honest, and her mom looks disappointed already. In her confessional, Jasmine says she knows her mom and that she just silently observes and gets disappointed, and that's how Jasmine can imagine she's feeling now. She tells her mom things aren't working out with Gino. Her mom asks how long that's been the case, and Jasmine says a year. And back in her confessional, Jasmine expresses her disgust with herself for not telling her mom sooner. Then she explains to her mom on the call about the open marriage and how she and Gino had a sexless marriage and she didn't feel like she had any other option. Her mom asks, why didn't she get a divorce? And Jasmine says she thought this was the way to save the marriage. She explains about Matt and how she found out she was pregnant with his baby. She brings Matt on the call and translates for her mom. Her mom asks why Matt accepted a relationship when he found out Jasmine was married. Matt is so lame in this segment. He's like, well, I was a single man in my 30s, and it sounded like something I could do on the side. He says he wasn't dating anyone and was like, well, I'm already friends with Jasmine, so I don't mind doing it. Jasmine looks like, damn, this was a mistake. She tries to translate the garbage Matt spewed to her mom in a way that doesn't sound completely asinine, and pretty much lies about what he actually said by saying he cares about her and loves her, etc. Jasmine expresses her frustration with Matt's response in her confessional, but at this point, I'm truly astounded that she's sticking with this man, not just fleeing to Panama. The mom asks who will take care of her once the baby is born. Jasmine asks Matt, so once the baby is born, what's your plan? Matt says he's never been married or had a kid, so how is he supposed to know? He really said that. Jasmine seems fed up at this point, so she stops covering for him and tells her mom that Matt's not sure since he doesn't have the experience. Naturally, the mom says she's worried since there's clearly no plan and she knows Jasmine is alone in Florida. Take that, Matt. Jasmine then breaks down crying, and Matt just sits there like an ass and can't be bothered to console her or even touch her. She asks her mom for forgiveness, and you can see her mom is breaking down too. And Matt just continues to sit there comforting himself and ignoring his sobbing wife. After Jasmine ends the call and weeps into the couch, Matt finally brings himself to put his hand on her shoulder. What a guy. Jasmine says in her confessional that if her mom had gotten angry, this would have been better than the reaction that she got, since her silence speaks volumes. As they show Matt still touching Jasmine to comfort her, if you look closely, you can see he's clearly annoyed and doesn't want to be there. I mean, this guy really sucks. Anyway, finally Coco comes over and consoles Jasmine for real, since Coco knows Matt is not getting the job done. Anyway, that's it for this episode. Thanks for watching.